is episode 2 of Foreign Inverters video diaries, and it's probably one of the biggest ones yet. So as you know, I already put my phone to the test back in Newmarket, and now it faces an even bigger test. But I think the one thing that's good about this phone is the long-lasting battery that it has. So I'm getting to Shenfield on a Renatus Class 321, and as you can see at Hatfield Peveril, the cheap modernisation vinyls are peeling off, and we get to see nice old first Great Eastern colours underneath it. So yeah, I get on a Renatus 321 this time. Normally I would try and avoid them at all costs, but that was mainly because the old ones were still operating, and I knew I had to make the most of the old ones while they were still there. But I think by now the old ones have started to go away, and that the Renatus units are kind of becoming the only option. Especially when I'm in a hurry to get there as well. But at least I didn't get a 720 this time. But it could have been better, as the Northern 321s were actually still operating at the time, for I did see a couple of them at Colchester earlier that time as well. So every time I always get off at Shenfield to switch to the TfL services, or Elizabeth line as it's now known as. And it gives me the full independence with the Oyster card, so I don't have to organise and I can get off anywhere I want. And I do just that when I come across a Tesco Extra by the side of the Great Eastern Main Line at Goodmayes Station. So I get out there and go and have a look at it. But be warned, the fire-alarm system layout is very weird. And although it's not been all that modernised, well, it has been modernised but years ago, but what you're about to see on this layout is a bit beyond regulations. I'm in this Tesco Extra in, was it Goodmayes I think it was, and well, it has a slightly older pilot system, but look at those. Like, it's got, there are loads of them all over the place, like Nissan detector bases with no detectors on them, and there are no Apollo detectors anywhere to be seen. There's just the bases, all of them have no detectors on them. Like, that's so weird. Like, I don't know if they're, well, they're clearly not getting a new Nissan system because those are old bases, but why have they removed them though? That's just weird. And there's another one down there. They're everywhere. I mean, if they were removing the Nissan sectors and not putting any Apollo ones up, why have they done that? I mean, if this system was installed like 10 years ago or something, they would have done it, wouldn't they? It's very weird. Okay, I may be in luck now, as there's an XP95 sector, that's the only one I found, and then there's also a Nissan sensor heat sector in there, but things get weirder as well, because look, that's a Nissan base, but it's got a CHUBS cover on it, and that's even weirder. I know I've started to see the sectors, but all the ones around here have all, like, they've all been removed, but they've all, okay, that one doesn't have a cover on it, but all the ones around there, they do. I mean, that's just even weirder. They like permanently removed all the detectors. That's just so weird. I know they added an XP95 one somewhere, but still. Man, this is the weirdest Tesco I've ever been to. Okay, I think we're in luck again. Like, I mean, we have found, like, we found an XP95 sector up here in Addis. There it is. And then there's also another Nissan base with a detector on it, and there's also a sense tech in there. So like, that's just like 3 of like 20 detectors that are actually still there. Right, let's see what's down here. There's a lift there. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Okay, let's see where this Otis takes us. Should work. Well, there are like, I've seen 2 XP95 detectors, and I've seen 3 Nissan detectors still on the bases. And, man, this looks really dark, isn't it? Yeah, I've seen like 2 XP95s and 3 Nissans, but all the other 20 detectors have no detectors on them. I think we're on restaurant level or something. Oh, and there's not really much up here either, except that cool point in Rochley. There's no detectors though. So now it's the 20th of April 2022, and I'm on the stagecoach bus route number 257 going towards Walthamstow Central. But it was at this moment that I discovered that the 257 route goes through Leighton Baker's Arms, one of the bleakest places in north-east London. Now there isn't very much in Baker's Arms. Now I know there's a Tesco, but even that isn't all that good either. It has been modernised years ago. Yeah, if you want to see stuff, I'd go on that side of Baker's Arms, or not this side. And don't go to Tesco, there's nothing good in there either. And the security's very strict in there, somehow. It's the only Tesco where the security's ridiculously strict. Yeah, this area is very dull, and there's not really much in here. In 2017, when I last came to Baker's Arms, I went into the Tesco. And even though I'd only pictured several devices on the system, at the last minute I was caught. And this Tesco received a CGT Severe Stage 1 mark, almost as high as the antique place in Ely that I mentioned before. It was given that level because they threatened to call security at the time. But even though Tesco still remains one of the most visited stores, this was actually one of the only Tesco's that actually received a CGT mark. The only other Tesco I know with a CGT mark was the petrol station one in Barking, but that one was very low. Here we are, Walthamstow High Street. I haven't been to Walthamstow Central since 2019. There's a pound note here as well. I mean, I know there's no chances or very little chances of it having a file system that good, but we'll have a look in here anyway. Unexpectedly, this file system was actually quite good, as it was a 1990s SMS brand Gent system. And the SMS conventional equipment like this is actually a bit rarer than the Gent equipment. I'm not sure if SMS ever rebranded the 1195 or CP150 glasses, but I reckon they could have just been unbranded. So that's 2 good poundlands in a row. So next we return to the Mall of Walthamstow, which half of it was previously rebuilt after the fire that happened on the 22nd of July 2019. And apparently the fire had actually been caused by a faulty extractor fan, according to the news that is. And I actually heard about it on the 30th of July 2019 and went down to Walthamstow to go and have a look at it, and at the same time did a bit of train spotting, at least when London Overground had BIL units. Now let's see what has survived and what hasn't. Yeah, it appears the new part of the Mall of Walthamstow has been rebuilt, but there are still some old shops left. Might be some old bits still within this area. I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe only a little bit is modernised. Let's just have a look anyway, just to be sure. Amazing, everything's exactly as it was. It may have been refurbished, but this Supertruck, for example, still has the same finals as we had like 5 years ago. And same with some other places. Well, I don't know if I'm in the proper refurbished bit yet, but we'll have a look further down. It's good to know that the Mall of Walthamstow still has some of its old stuff still left after the fire, even if some other bits of it have been lost. Well, I don't know what's been lost, but we'll have to see about it. Okay, I don't think this has been there before though. I think that used to be the new look. I think there's a very old style Russian in there. I don't know if it's still in there, but still, we'll have a look. Okay, it turns out the new look is actually here and not there. But I think, I don't know if this is where Boots used to be, but even if it was, it's clearly not got the same files, so it's probably been lost. Although there are some, and the Astor has a brand new process system as well. I don't know if that's what it had previously. This is still the same, it's still got the same bog standard GFE system. Okay, it looks as if there's to be some lifts here, well, very modern looking ones, but we'll have a look at those in a minute as well. I reckon this bit was rebuilt actually, it doesn't look the same as it was. Yeah, it looks rather different. Don't know how different, but still. Yeah, I think these are quite clearly Dewhurst.
Going down.
Going up?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Please mind the doors. Doors closing. Going up. Floor 1. Doors opening.
What is in this section though?
I've never really been, oh, there's a monitor thing up there. Oh, there's a sonar sounder as well. I don't think I've ever been up here before. Well, I reckon it's brand new though, it looks very new actually. Here's some sort of sounder. I don't know what type, I don't think it's not a fire alarm sounder, I think it's more of a burglar alarm sounder, but still. But get this, I've just been able to picture the main fire panel, the door was open, and I took the opportunity to picture it. No one saw me do it. Anyway, let's just get back into the lifts. So that's what's on, isn't it? He's on duoist again. There we go.
Going down. Please mind the door.
What's on that floor?
Doors closing.
Well, actually, come to think of it, do you think it'd be a car park?
Going down.
It's got the same key switch for a Kids X Sigma. If I bought my 801 kit, I'd probably use that.
Floor -2. Doors opening.
Yeah, it looks like a car park, right? It's on one of those. Okay, turns out it is a car park. But look what I've done to that flush mounting on the intelligent call point. Look how... Here, see? I don't know what else is in here. I reckon it's just the same Polo equipment that you get everywhere. In there are actually bass speakers though.
Well, unlike Stratford Centre, I may have thought wrong.
I'm on the next floor up at the car park, and it kind of looks more original because I saw an old style Apollo call point down there, and there's also a Banshee sounder in the middle of the road. Kind of weird, but see if I can find some others. Look who's managed to get into this car park. There's a live bird in here, and there's another Banshee sounder up there. I think there's more down there as well. Show you home, mate. Found another pigeon around here, look. There's two of them. Seen that? What they're up to? No, I don't really care. Let's just picture that old call point quickly. There's more of them in here. Oh, there's more of these as well. I do like that open area a bit though. It's nice. See that? Yes, we've got rebuilt. Well, look at the state of that call point. Actually, what kind of glass is it? Oh, it's a white glass. Oh, well, it's still in pretty poor state. There's a bench out there. There were a couple of pigeons here, and there's one right there. They're all over the place. I did see one just fly out the exit over there. Still, yeah, this car park's infested with pigeons. Yeah, apparently there's another floor in this car park, which I just went to from the fire exit, which was open from the outside. There are more Discovery walkthrough call point over there. There's another Banshee sounder, and there's also a Roshni up here. It looks like it's been added. And just see what's down there as well. I do like the area, but look how low down these pipes are. If you were like a few inches taller than me, you'd probably hit your head on these. They're like very low down. Should be all on this bit. I've seen another waterproof. What's that belt? Oh, no, it's just a round pipe. It's quite a lot. Okay, it's getting higher now. It's getting higher. Where's that coming from that Mini? I think you've left a fan on that Mini, whoever owns it. Oh, I know where we are again. We're back at the lifts down there. So this is the slightly modernised section. Okay, I think it's getting low down again, and here it's getting really low down. I mean, look, I'm now officially much taller than this ceiling here. See why they blocked it off. Okay, it appears there's more parts of the car park that appears to be closed off in this area. There's not really much down that bit anyway, I don't really need to see more. It's only being modernised. Yeah, I think that's the section that was closed off previously. And I think if I'm right, yeah, no, there's I mean, this area wasn't blocked off last time, but still. You still see it.
So as we know, at the time of filming these first shots in Walthamstow, something else happened at the same time. But we'll wait until near the end of the video and then we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Right on. I really should go back in there actually, because I saw there was some good stuff last time, although, well, I come to think of it, it might not even still be open actually. Yeah, it looks like it's closed down. Yeah, there's the West Anglia. It was once part of the West Anglia, now part of London Overground. And there has all the bog standard Bombardier units. But yeah, I forgot about this section. Have a look here. This is what's left of the old section here. I think I pictured that last time. Look at the state of that though. Don't know what that used to be. But wait, it looks like there's been an expander added to this fire alarm system. And there's another one of those burglar alarm panels. Yeah, the British Arts Foundation is clearly closed down here. Can't really see what's in there. There wasn't really much on this when I saw it. See, like, well, I don't think there was really much on it. It was modernised by ADT.
So now we leave Walthamstow and get on the only option, London Overground Class 720, to our main destination, Chingford.
At Chingford, there's what is that? It's the Uncle One. It's also a Young Long YOA up there. And there's a Friedland Bell there as well. So yeah, I don't think this will be packed with good stuff. There's a burglar alarm security shop. At least they do decent equipment, alright. Well, let's hope they don't do Vesha.
It's Verisure, not Vesha. But I had only recently heard about it at the time. But I was already aware about its extreme controversy.
Well, I don't think I think the place itself has a fire alarm system, but I don't know if it does. Well, it could have one of those 12-volt systems actually.
So this is it, the start of our long walk from Chingford to Meridian Water. And our first stop will be Chingford Mount. Now the main reason why I chose to do this was so that I could have a look at the B&Q just outside Chingford. On the way to Chingford Mount we get to see a Nissan Duke loaded onto a flatbed.
Oh, that is. Looks like there's something in there.
Now what you're about to see at this moment is the closest to solo urbex I've had in the whole of 2022. But I didn't do any urbex at all in 2022, so let alone this place.
You can hear a fire alarm bell. There's a squashing in there as well. I don't know where that's coming from though. I don't know how you get into this place. And there's bits of glass all over the floor as well. Oh, there's more over here. Look at that bell. Oh, what kind of bell? I think it might be a gent bell actually. There's a bass sound there as well. Don't know ring it. extra.
Then we stop over at someplace else, picture a Morley IS-2SE.
Warning, this machine is operated by an electronic alarm. What kind of electronic alarm exactly? Well guys, we made it down to Chingford Mount. So, who knows what lies ahead in this area.
We stop off at a few places, including the Super Truck in Chingford Mount, which has an original telephone rentals call point at the front, although everything else is Series 65 sectors and New-Style Rushleys. The Iceland was rejected because it had Fike in it. A few miles later we make it to the B&Q, and it sucked. The system was all bog standard and it was all addressable, apart from that single Roshney outside. And I also liked how the Kensec Synchro had these separate printer attachments fitted. And don't worry, the following B&Q covered in the next episode will really make up for this one. Although this particular B&Q says it's in Chingford, it's actually located a lot closer to Meridian Water. Now let's just finish the rest of our walk to Meridian Water.
See ya, I just dropped the keys.
Final stops of Meridian Water, IKEA and then Tesco Extra.
Let's try here first. Okay, I don't know what it's going to have because I've walked nearly 10 years so far on photos. I've never been to an IKEA before. So who knows what this one might have. We'll find out. Don't know how old this place is, but still gives an example. Okay, what's that? That looks like Hochiki. Yeah, so cheeky, alright. Okay, so it's only for the first IKEA up into it as a Hochiki firing system. Although, why are they... Wait, are they heat sectors or are they opticals? Well, there might be heat sectors actually. Okay, that's alright. Very strange lift this. It's very wide. Like, well, it does have Duros buttons on it still. I'll tell you what, I can easily get lost in this place. I don't know my way around. Key switch on there as well. Never heard of that company. It's very weird lift, this. Okay, we're back on the main floor then.
About the IKEA, it turns out that I was not actually the only person to have gone in there and pictured its fire alarm system. A while later I had found out that STI, yes, the stopper company, had actually been there and pictured one of the call points as well. And not only did they picture a call point in the same IKEA, they also did it less than 24 hours before I did. So basically, without realising, I've actually pictured one of their very recent stopper installs that was installed literally just 24 hours before I pictured it. And as soon as I uploaded my picture of one of the call points, they immediately took note of this. Before I'd asked them to, they revealed it on their stories that I'd pictured the same system as well, at near the same time. Plus, when I found out about it, they also remastered the post and put it up again. But as you can see in the video, I literally just randomly came across this IKEA. I was unaware that they had pictured it at near the same time.
At least Tesco has a chance of either having newer pie or older pie like the other Tesco Extra. I mean, it's a nice old one, so it could have either of them, it could have both, or it could have something different. It could have remains of a conventional system, like the petrol station has. I tell you what, I actually recommend having a look at Tesco petrol stations if there is one, because they always have something conventional in them. That one had a couple of Nissan sectors and Series 65s and alarm tech call points. So if you want a picture of a Tesco fire alarm system, I'd have a look at the petrol station as well. And there's a Yodel outside it as well. Okay, this Tesco has a more modern, brand new Apollo system, which is clearly replaced some old equipment, but like the other Tesco Extra, this one has Nissan bases all over the place as well. There's also a bell there in this picture. Yeah, this too has the same weird system. Yeah, this one does also have addressable sounders, which is a shame. Well, but at least there are some Nissan remainders, like the other one. Although I doubt there are any detectors on. I haven't seen any XP95 detectors yet, just the Nissan bases, which is very stupid. I mean, they couldn't just replace these with XP95s or run them off of the zone way, they just disconnected them. Okay, there's another Russian out there. Tesco is very similar to in good ways, only has a more modernised fire alarm system, but it still has remainders. And speaking of which, there's some remainders here and there. Okay, this Tesco clearly has the same sort of layout as the other one I went to yesterday. Only there are less XP95 detectors on the system, and there are no remaining old detectors on their bases. All except that odd one out, the Series 65 BR heat detector. That was the only one left. I mean, it's just a very weird modernisation, this. They like modernise it and then they remove all the old detectors and they do not make a return. That's literally the weirdest modernisation. Normally you can possibly have that with call points, but to see that happen with detectors, that's just disgusting. Like, there used to be so many detectors on the system, and now there are only one or two. I only saw two XP95s in there, and the Series 65 heat detector. I don't think that's connected to the new system though. Yeah, well, you finally made it to Madrid and Water. There's a couple of 317s in here. I thought they had all gone out of service by now, but they're still here. So I've done it. I've walked all the way from Chingford railway station all the way to Madrian Water, which is probably miles away, not without making a few side stops.
We are now approaching Northumberland Park.
This extremely long walk may have given me a couple of side effects afterwards, but we've done it, and now we're going back to Stratford on a Class 317. Now, I wouldn't normally do this, but I decided to have lunch in Burger King in Stratford Centre. And even though I've been to Burger King loads of times in the past, this was actually the first one I ever pictured something in there. With exception to those in Welcome Breaks, but they're interconnected farm systems, so they don't really count that much. And I also finally pictured the advance panel of Stratford Station, which I had been meaning to do for a very long time. And I first took note of that particular advance panel back in 2015. Even though I've been to Stratford Station literally more times than I can count, I never got the chance to picture that advance panel. The rest of Stratford will be covered in a future video, but now we're going to move on to our final destination, Ilford.
Yeah, that's in fault. Dewhurst again. Seen a lot of Dewhurst lately. Fawn. The lift looks old though. It's just got modernised Dewhurst buttons.
So then have yet another look at the Exchange Ilford, because what's a visit to Ilford without visiting the Exchange shopping centre? And no, I didn't just walk into a portal and ended up in America.
Yeah, this bit of car park is locked off. This is the highest floor we can get to at the moment. Sure, you may think we're in America at this point, but maybe hence the British sounder above and the American pulsation underneath. I mean, they're everywhere in this car park. I mean, unlike the one in Ipswich, this one has pull stations instead of call points. But the sort of stairwell has call points instead.
The bus market Ipswich, that has the same firing system as this place, will also be covered in a future episode. Now, I first took note and pictured this firing system back in late 2016. And when I saw those pull stations in the car park, I just could not believe my eyes. I really thought I was actually in America at that point, but thankfully I wasn't. Now, the reason why this particular firearm system ended up in the UK will be explained in the Ipswich episode. But in these shots we can also get some clues off of some of the additional devices.
Renowned fan generation sounds. What's around here anyway? There's a normal coupon there. There's a bit more in here. Oh, there's one of those interior beacons. There's that as well. Why is the LED on that call point? It's not activated, is it? I don't know, it's quite clearly intact, and why is the LED on then? It's weird.
I literally just remembered how I had these 4 videos of lifts in Exchange Ilford that were filmed back in 2021. First one is in the main shopping centre, and it's a ThyssenKrupp brand generic, Dewhurst.
looks like more duos buttons.
Next lifts in the car park, and again, ThyssenKrupp brand Dewhurst. Really large Dewhurst buttons on this one, to be honest.
It's quite clearly a generic.
Floor 1. Doors opening. Lift going
It's cool, I've got some pictures. Pretty generic.
Got more Hoshiki effects down there. And I've also come up to this very high level cool point. I mean, look how high that is. It's like taller than the actual shop window. There's a panel lining here somewhere. It's an old precinct. I don't know how they're hidden it behind that wall though. We're at Sainsbury's, and there's normally a police panel up outside somewhere around here. Let's try and find it. Either outside or in that area. Could be in this area actually. There's no sign of it. Okay, it's just that. But maybe it's on the other side. No, it's not here either. Oh, there's a car park here. Might be on this side though. Oh, here it is. There's an old one. Yeah, we'll have a look at the car park as well while we're at it. Okay, closer examination on this file. It actually appears to be conventional, because hence the conventional 4 points and Series 65 detectors. Although I did see a kind of file and panel down there as well with the addressable style to it, but they're multi-purpose, so they don't really count, despite the fact they're in the design of the Kinney Vega. But still, well, either that or it's its own monitor system. But yeah, it's first Sainsbury's I've seen with a conventional system, with the exception of Sainsbury's Cycle, but they don't count because they're different. Yes, it is true, this Sainsbury's actually does have a conventional fire alarm system. And most of the devices on the system were really old ones too. And at the time I also considered this one of the best Sainsbury's I've been into so far, as there will be plenty more Sainsbury's as good as this one, in fact maybe even better, to follow in the future. So we'll be seeing more of those in future episodes. This was literally just the start of seeing proper Sainsbury's fire alarm systems. But it does appear that it probably is a zone monitor fire alarm system, and it probably is running off an addressable panel.
And the same method of reusing conventional devices on an addressable panel will be seen in loads of other Sainsbury's as well. Yeah, clearly Sainsbury's do a lot better of impressing me than Tesco ever has. So moving on, and then going to some random shop with a notifier ionisation sector, and then I go into another random shop with a very rare Thorn CP200 call point, says fire alert on the top. Then I go into the Argos, which has addressable, but looks like it's had addressable since the 1990s, even though it's not completely original anymore. Would have been nice seeing it with all detectors. Unfortunately, we then come to a really disgusting modernisation. Look, I see you kept all the old equipment in place, but fuck you. Okay, back to good equipment again. We finish off with a super drug, and then we're all finished. We decide to call it a day. And both me and my new phone need a good long rest after all that. So all there is to say now is, stay tuned for the next episode, filmed on the following day, on the 21st of April 2022, where we cover the B&Q of Newbury Park, including a bit of central London as well. The next episode will be a lot shorter than this one. Because this video was filmed on the 20th of April, there is something I should address. I know it was pretty much worth doing all this, but should I really have been in North East London on this day? Or should I have been somewhere else? Somewhere that I would have personally gone to, and not just because of a particular event that just so happens to be in the right place. I know I've already mentioned this before, but it's probably best to do it in this particular video. At the time of arriving in Walthamstow Central at 10 o'clock, the funeral of Tom Parker from The Wanted, who I had only recently heard about at the time he had died of brain tumour. Anyway, I probably wouldn't have thought about going to his funeral at the time, but I need to think if I might have actually thought about personally going to Petts Wood. I don't know what I'd benefit from train spotting on the South Eastern Main Line on the 20th of April. Maybe if there were some certain freight services going through I would have done it. Then again, I knew it was actually quite a while since I had last gone to Petts Wood. I was last there when he was actually still alive, back in September 2021, when I took train spotting on the South Eastern Main Line seriously at first. It wasn't the first time I'd done it, but I did more at that point. And still unaware of where this funeral was, I didn't return to Petts Wood until May 2022, almost a month after his funeral, in which that is also another episode to follow. Even though I'd watched both the funeral video and the Sleep Well Brother video at the time they were both released, I was probably too drained to concentrate on locations, and I didn't find out that it was in my all-time favourite place rather than somewhere else that I didn't know very well at all, but I expected it to be. Until the 1st of August, after I get back from Beckton, which again is another episode. And everything else about this will also be covered in that episode.